Welcome to another Baldur's Gate Story Edition with your storyteller, Legion. In our previous episode, we avoided assassination. We talked to the mayor of Nashgul and picked up a quest or two. However, after staying the night, we come to the decision that maybe it's best to pick up another companion before heading to the mines of Nashgul. Join us as we continue the adventures of Elise, Montaron, Jaheira, Khalid, and Imowen. After a long 24-hour journey, we are back at the Friendly Arm Inn. Landrin.
A stout hammer will fix most any bandit.
I am so glad I can move home again. Bentley is a kind man, but it is always best not to push favors too far. Here's 120 gold pieces for your trouble. I'll just take those old boots from you. If you have any of my other possessions, come talk to me again.
You cannot get better than the stability stone walls provide.
I see you have the largest of those pesky spiders in my house. With this one dead, I'm sure the others will have run away. You are too kind to an old gnome like myself. Thank you so much. If you have any of my other possessions, come talk to me again.
A stout hammer will fix most any bandit.
You've done everything that I asked. Thank you kindly for helping me, dear. You've earned every copper.
Agreed.
Oh, so now you come back? After making me walk all the way here by myself? Well, I'll just have you know that it'll take more than a... Oh, who am I kidding? I don't want to run into any more of those red wizards by myself. You will let me join you, won't you? Please?
Well, that's why I'm here, Nira. Please join us.
Yes! I knew you'd come around.
The biography of Nira. When asked about her past, Nira says that she has been on the run from the Red Wizards for months and months. She seems quick-thinking and a little glib, but you have heard that wild mages are among the most powerful spellcasters, as long as they don't have an accident. Despite her cheerful and capricious demeanor, you sense her past haunts her. As much as she loves unleashing the powers of her wild magic, she also seems to fear the harm it can cause. Nira's staff. This finely crafted and intricately engraved quarterstaff was improved upon by Nira herself. Her intent was to create a staff that would inflict fiery pain upon its victims, but she fell slightly short of that goal. While it can light enemies aflame, there is also the chance that the staff will backfire and incinerate its wielder. We decide to press our luck and move on to the town of Baragos, where we can also turn in the remainder of our quests.
A few moments later.
We arrive at the town of Baragos and decide to stay at the Feldpost Inn for a good night's rest.
Here now, get out. I don't like your type in here.
Marl.
You tell him, Marl.
I told you to get lost. Ain't no room here for you troublemaking strangers. There's no need to get all bent out of shape. There's plenty of bar for us all. Hey, I take whatever shape I want. I'm sick of you freakish adventurers going out, consorting with God knows what, and dragging your trouble back into my hometown. What do you say to that? Elise says, "Whoa, go easy. Let's keep it friendly. How about I buy you and the rest of the bar around?" Elise, remembering her barbarian roots, says, I just do what I think is right. We solve a lot more trouble than we cause. Well, very nearly anyways. Oh, you think it's funny, do you? You mess up the local economy with your treasure, you upset the balance of nature, you flash your magic around, and because of it, maybe somebody's son thinks it's fun and goes out and gets himself killed. It's a bad example, and somebody ought to kick your ass for it. Hold on, Elise says. Everyone goes their own path, and I'll not be held accountable for what the fates deal. Marl steps back and says, he was a good boy till your kind came through town. Filled his head with nonsense they did. And because of it, he's dead. Now why should I take that out of your hide? Elise cautiously answers, if you knew him like you think, then ask yourself if he wouldn't have gone anyway. It's a calling you're born with. Nobody gives it to you. Tain't true. He was going to take over the farm and settle down. Maybe apprentice with Thunderhammer during the winter. He never wanted to adventure, Duncan says. That was what you wanted, Marl. Fun's fun, but you're blaming these folk for what couldn't be helped. That boy was firebrand if there ever was. Marl says, no, he was settling down. He wanted... Duncan adds, that new plow he bought last year. He got the gold by helping clear kobolds near Ulfgar's beard. He wanted to make a difference, make the realms a bit safer. Just like these folk, most likely. Marl says, by Shantia, why couldn't he just stay home? Elise puts her hand on Marl's shoulder and says, the realms call, and you go. He sounds a fine lad taken too soon, but doing what he was meant. If you'll suffer my company, I'll buy around and toast his memory with you. With his head down, Marl says, would be fitting, I suppose. To Kennar Nethelin, rest ye will. I would be alone a while. Duncan adds, well, 'tis the calmest I've seen him in a week. Still, best you move along. Marl ain't known for his steady moods. Bartender says, keep a low profile if you please. Tempers are short for strangers right now. So what do you want? What do you have to offer? After resting a while, our companions get together and have a good meal. Where's Montaron?
This better be good. Effective. I may not kill you after all.
Oh, there's Montaron. Welcome back. We gather our party and venture forth.
Go suck your blade.
Montaron says, say, I've recently come into possession of a cloak. Perhaps if we could get it identified, we could see its value. That temple to the east might give us some information. Keldath Ormler.
At once.
Don't touch me. I'm super important.
Welcome. The traveling adventurer is never turned away from a house of Lathander, as we strive to aid all who make a difference in the realms. If you are battle worn, we can extend a number of necromantic restorations, whatever your need. A small donation is all the compensation we require. What kind of aid can you give us? Song of the Morning. Algernon's cloak is imbued with magical properties such that the wearer will seem to shine with an inner glow. Equipped abilities, Charisma +2. And without further delays, we head south.
All this traveling, all this adventure, how do you manage it? Until now, I was barely able to keep my head above water. Yet here with you, it seems almost easy.
Elise says, there is safety in numbers.
Safety in numbers, eh? Fair enough. I guess I've just never really had a traveling companion before. My life on the road has been a solitary affair, full of cold nights and colder dreams. It's enough to make a girl want to head back to High Forest.
High Forest? Is that where you come from?
That's me, born and raised in the thicket. At least until my mistakes piled up high enough to come crashing down on me.
Well, mistakes can be corrected. I'm sure you weren't forced out.
No, I guess nobody kicked me out. But they would have, if I'd stayed.
What exactly happened?
A maiming or two, if you don't count the second-degree burns. Completely accidental, and everybody lived. Well, at least I'm pretty sure everybody lived.
I find most of the deaths around me are rarely accidental. These people crossed you, didn't they?
You really know how to get someone to open up. Why, yes, let me just share intimate details about my past. You put me right at ease.
Take your time. Tell me when you're ready.
During our magical training, we were supposed to summon a sphere of fire. And mine got away from me somehow. One moment I was concentrating, the next moment my classmates were rolling on the floor screaming.
Well, perhaps your poor teachers are the ones to blame.
No, I did it. It was my fault. Accident or not, I should have been more careful. I could have taken responsibility or fetched a bucket of water. Instead, I ran away, terrified of what I'd done.
Well, I can understand why you might panic in that situation. Nira says, it's kind of you to put it that way. There are times when I wanted to think that way. It was confusing, and I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Still, afterwards, I ran into the woods and couldn't bear to go back to face the consequences. I snuck back into the village now and then for food, and once to leave a note for my parents, but eventually I had to leave.
I took to wandering High Forest, but I kept running into the wrong people and doing the wrong thing. Eventually, Turlang the tree grabbed me and said, take a hike. Well, maybe not in those words exactly.
An interesting tale. I would like to hear more sometime.
All right, then I'll yank on your ear when I'm ready to gab some more.
Ah, you have to help me. Them Zvarts are after my cows again. Ulrich. Thanks for saving Arabelle here. Ever since them Zvarts and Kobolkin swarmed the mines of Nashkel, they've been making attacks like that more and more often. If someone like yourself could get to the bottom of that, all of us trying to make an honest living out here sure would be grateful. Zvart raids. It appears that Zvarts have been making regular raids on the livestock around Nashkel. They must be operating from a base nearby, but where exactly? I cannot be sure. We traveled 12 hours to the south.
Yes.
Sendai. Travelers from the north. Halt! You trespass quite deep into Amian territory. Perhaps you have come to spy upon our supposed troop buildup. It's quite funny, the stupid notions you northern barbarians can get stuck in your heads. At least the barbarian says, "Who are you?" And what do you want? I am Sendai of the noble merchant house of Argrims, foremost family in Delgod, Alexander, and I have come out here to hunt game. Though perhaps you would make for better sport. I assume you would have no problem with this. Those are fighting words, Missy, and I think you'll soon regret you ever said them. Sendai laughs and says, "Why, it seems we have stumbled upon some berserkers. I had suspected as much when I caught your scent a few moments ago, but your behavior clinches it. Delgod, Alexander. Let us make short work of these peasants."
Yes, oh omnipresent authority figure.
My power overwhelms.
You've attacked? Nature as you direct. As you direct.
Sendai is defeated, but her companions are somewhere, still in the woods. We ask Nier to identify the longsword that was on Sendai's body. It's a longsword +1. These swords are usually referred to as double-edged swords, war swords, or military swords. The blade hums slightly in your hand, the only overt evidence that magic runs through it. We give the newfound weapon to Khalid, who has proficiency in longsword. Sendai has fallen, but 2 of her companions are somewhere in the woods.
Ye spoke at me?
Montoran taps us on the shoulder and says, "Leave it to me. I'll find them."
Yes? Do my best.
Thanks to Montoran's backstab and our quick thinking, we take out the would-be assassins. Hi, I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl. We're pleased to meet you. Larry, Daryl, and Daryl? Why would a Zvart, a Kobold, and a Tasloid be wandering around calling themselves Larry, Daryl, and Daryl? See, Daryl, I told you these guys were the wrong generation.
Hello there.
Vax. Hey there, pal. Seems like your little party's wandered a bit off the beaten path. Well, that's too bad for you, because you've had the misfortune of meeting the fastest draw in the West. See that man over yonder? His name's Zal, and he's the fastest dart thrower that has ever walked the Sword Coast. Now, if I were you, I wouldn't want to test the patience of such a man. So why don't you just do the wise thing and hand over all your money? Otherwise, you're going to be in a heap of trouble. Are you some sort of moron? The fastest dart thrower in the West? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Bring it on, Vax. You tell Zal to show off his stuff. Hear that, Zal? Seems they don't take you seriously. Guess it's time to show what for, huh? Sorry, guys, but you're in for a world of hurt. We separate Vax from his dart-throwing champion.
No!
Viva Flaming! No! Possibly Frosty. Death!
If none are better. in this.
Go suck your blade.
Yes. At once.
What need ye dead?
Once again, we asked Montaron to stay in the shadows, see if he couldn't find this notorious dart thrower.
Sleep lightly, Taskmaster.
We've spotted him.
No! Sleep lightly, Taskmaster.
Agreed. Agreed.
Flaming! Or possibly frosty. Death!
I'll do your toil.
Even with infravision, I prefer the daylight.
Azal has an interesting set of bracers on his body. Perhaps they were the key to his success.
You funny looking.
Albert. Here, little doggy. Aw, why don't you come home? Excuse me. I ever so sorry to bother, but could you help me? I've lost my little dog and I can't find him. He's probably ever so scared right now. Certainly, little one. I'd be glad to aid you. How will I recognize him? Albert says, You will? Oh, thank you so very much. I just know he'll be all right now. Poor Rufy isn't used to strange places and people. You're sure to know him when you see him, because he's the cutest little thing. Here, take this as well. His favorite chew toy it is. He'll know you're a friend if you have it in your hands. Thank you so much again. A boy named Albert and his dog. A boy named Albert has lost his dog, Rufy, outside of Nashville. With Rufy's chew toy in hand, I may be able to lure the dog back to his master. Chew toy. Rufy's chew toy consists of moist and ragged scraps of flesh hanging from a mangled bone of indiscernible origin. You think you can detect a few metal fragments amidst the gore, but it is hard to be sure. Very nearby where Sendai fell, we run into Rufy. Good Rufy, good Rufy. Albert is waiting. Rufy! Who's a fuzzy Rufy? Who's a fuzzy little guy? Thank you just ever so much. I better take this lost little puppy home right away. Here, take this. It's another of his chew things, but we can get more where we're going. Thanks again. Time to go home, Rufy. You'll like the 9 hells. Much better than these cold climes. I rescued little Rufy and returned him to the child named Albert. I do not wish to know where they went. With luck, I will never find out.
Casting spells isn't as easy as I make it look. I'm tired.
If I'm not allowed to sleep, our next assailants may just live.
Well, that's it for today's episode of A Baldur's Gate Story Edition. Elise Greystone and her adventurers will continue to investigate the Iron Crisis off the Sword Coast. We are honored you have chosen to watch our channel. Feel free to give us a comment, like the video if it's something you enjoyed, and remember, YouTube subscriptions are always free. Clicking the alert icon will notify you when new videos are posted or when we go live. Again, thank you.